20 rakats in Jamaat, in the mosque. Yeah? If you are confident, you can pray at home. Our situation now, here and now, because we don't need to worry about establishing Jamaats. I'm not, I'm talking about our situation in this country. If you can establish to pray every day at home, even if you have to use a mushaf, then do it. Because the whole thing of Ramadan is to establish your relationship with God and with the Quran.
Where would you place the mushaf once you've gone in?
You can actually get a stand or, to put the mushaf on. Okay. You don't have to read 20. It's if you can read 8, alhamdulillah, it's not a problem. Yes?
You know the thing about 8 though?
Yeah.
You know the word tarawih?
Yeah.
It's a plural.
Yes.
Of
2s. Oh, 4s.
Yeah. So if it's a plural,
yeah,
8 will mean it's a Jew.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you're reading at home, are you reading Taraweeh?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it comes from istiraha, that after 4 rakats they would rest. Yeah. So again, the jury's out. Is muthanna jama' or not? And if you go by grammar, muthanna is jama'. Yes. 2 is jama'. What's mufrad? 1. Anyway, we don't want to get into that. Yeah. Because the thing is that if you can, Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi, he's mujtahid fil madhab, he's from the muhakkikeen of the madhab, he categorically says, we do not know how many rakats the Prophet ﷺ prayed. He was a hafiz of hadith. Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi.
Is that the Ibn Arabi?
No, not the Sufi.
Okay.
The Qadi Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi from Ishbiliya. Is it Seville now? Yeah. Seville. He's buried in Fez. But some of the things that our commentator doesn't cover on, the khatam of the Quran.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good if they do it, but there shouldn't be any rush. To the whole idea was that people would come and listen to the Quran. It wasn't that they would do this or that. If you go by the research scholars of the madhab, they say it started with 8 rakats, and there were 100 ayats recited. Yeah. Then the ayats were kept the same. Then the numbers were increased to 20.
So what's the preferred opinion of the Maliki school? What should you be doing? How much should you read?
What in Taraweeh?
In Taraweeh.
In Taraweeh, 20 rakats.
No, 20. No. As in the recitation of the Quran, how much should you cover the Quran, or do you?
Where in Taraweeh?
Overall, throughout the month, some people say.
We don't have that.
We don't have that.
We don't have that. If you want to do, what the Jari al-Amal is, that the continuous action, which is, alhamdulillah, they've preserved it in Morocco, is you read half a juz, a hizb in the morning and hizb in the evening. So every month there's a collective Quran that's finished. Every, mosque does it. It's cheap to go to Morocco. Sometimes you can get a £20 return.
Do you know my teachers told me that?
Well, I booked a £48 return.
Is it cheap to study there as well?
It's not cheap to study. Actually, it's cheap, but if you know what you're doing, you need to find the right people. But anyway, Taraweeh. If you can't go to the mosque, at home, pray. Attach yourself to the Quran. Yeah, but don't push yourself, because this year the fast was nearly 20 hours. Then the Taraweeh was an hour and a half. It's just
too much.
when you get, some time, look through the Muwatta, you'll find that the Sahaba used to, last end of the night, they will be leaning on their staffs, and the servants would come with water because the subah was kicking in. They will be reading Tahajjud. Right. Tarawih, that's something that is stressed upon. It's a nafil. The next nafil are the ones that are attached to the prayers. Because so far we've covered the independent ones that are not attached to any prayers. Well, we've covered, the 2 rakats of Raghiba. Now, there are nafil that are attached to Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib. Yeah? So, we've got, again, the madhab does not dictate. It leaves it up to you, your capacity. So if you can read 4 rakats before Dhuhr, then do 2. Otherwise 2.
So if you can read 4 rakats,
do it. Otherwise 2.
So it's not 4 straight. You break it. Okay.
No, 2.
Okay.
Because the nafil is always in 2s. Yeah?
Wait, those 4 that you do before
Dhuhr, nafil.
they're nafil.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
It's not sunnah.
Not sunnah.
I thought the Hanafis.
No, that's Hanafis. Hanafis, with the Hanafis is sunnah. With us it's nafil. It's a stressed nafil. Yeah? Stressed nafil. 2 or 4. Yeah? Now, after Dhuhr, again, 2 or 4. Up to you. 2 or 4. Asr, again, 2 or 4. Before Asr. Before Asr, up to you, 2 or 4.
So it's not afterwards?
Of course, there's none after. That's agreed upon with all of us.
No, I mean like...
After Asr, there's no. Unless you've got Qada prayer to make up. But don't do them in the mosque.
Wait, Asr you normally have 4 far. Oh, okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah, we got it.
I don't know what I was thinking about.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So 2 or 4. Now, Maghrib, 6.
Before.
After. Maghrib, 6. Stressed nafil. 2, 2, 2.
Stressed. So that means...
There's a nafil, do it.
No other options.
Huh?
No other options.
And if you have
2,
Qada
2, 2.
So not just 2.
You could phone a friend, couldn't you?
Could I just do 2 and leave it at that? I want to.
It's a nafil. I'm not going to say no. Yeah? So, but the ideal is 2, 2, 2.
Okay.
Yeah? Isha, nothing. Before or after.
Is that because the Sahaba, when they pray Maghrib, they used to be waiting in the masjid for Isha?
No.
So why then none after Isha?
Pardon?
So why is there none after Isha?
There's nothing that the researchers have brought forward. You will find some, but there isn't anything that and the Muhakkikeen have brought forward.
So Sheikh, how many nafil are there before Isha prayer and after?
None.
No nafil before Isha.
No, there's no nafil, there's no sunnah before Isha or after Isha.
What about the four sunnahs that?
There's nothing.
Confused.
There's nothing before Isha and after Isha.
So then what happened to those five I've been told in the past?
In Hanafi fiqh you
Yeah,
do, but
yeah.
we're going by Maliki fiqh. We don't have anything.
Oh, that's really different. Interesting. Okay.
Wow. That's a game changer.
Yeah. Now, does it make sense? You see how easy it is?
Yeah.
Yeah?
My dad's going to be Maliki like that.
But the stress is on the fard.
Yeah.
The stress is on the capital, not on the profit. You preserve the capital, the profit will preserve itself. What's the adage in English? If you look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves.
Sure.
Yeah? You look after your fard, the rest will fall in place. You know, before we move on, is there anything about nafil or sunnah?
Have these been listed in the order they come in the Quran? Are they in order of seniority? Or is it all equally the same?
No, it's nafil. It's nafil.
So in the Maliki madhab, there are only two sunnahs which are before Fajr, and that's it. Everything else around the obligatory prayers is nothing.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, witr not attached to any prayer.
Oh, I see.
Witr
Sorry.
stands on its own.
Witr and the two sunnah.
Shaf.
Yeah.
No, those are nafil.
The two
The two rakats before are nafil. But you never pray witr without those two. Yeah,
And
the
the-
shaf are witr.
and the ones before subh are
The two rakats of fajr, they are sunnah raghib. Yeah, it's desired, it's stress, something you run after. Because the Prophet ﷺ says those two rakats are better than the dunya and what's in it.
subhanallah.
Yeah, because some of the hadiths that the commentator brings forward about duha, the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever prays, whoever protects, duha, غفرت ذنوبه إن كانت مثل زبدة البحر. Whosoever preserves the duha, God forgives his sins, even if they were like the foam on top of the waves. And then here about the 6 rakats after Maghrib. What is it? You don't speak to anyone in between. You're praying those 6.
Which ones?
The 6 after Maghrib, the nafil. They're equal to Ithnata Ashra Sana. They're equal to having worshipped for 12 years.
If you don't speak to them.
Yeah, don't speak to. And rule of thumb, if you're in the mosque and you want to read nafil, don't go back, move forward, please.
Yeah,
I underline the
makes
please, pretty please. Yeah, move forward.
Because it helps, doesn't it? 'Cause
Yeah,
nobody.
because the thing is that if you move backwards and start praying your nafil, you are blocking people's way, and then your concentration is gone because people are walking back and forward all around you. If you move forward, then people will move backwards. Yeah. Are we done with any questions? Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to Sajda Sahwi. I thought we would get to this in the afternoon, but we're not going to get to Salatul Jummah. 136 and 137.
We're going back now.
No, we're moving forward on the poem. We're not going back.
We were at 140 though.
Yeah, 146 and 147.
So now 146 and 47.
Yeah.
If one or more sunnahs are missed out of negligence, 2 prostrations should be made before the salam alaykum. In the case of, what is this? Mu'akkad?
Mu'akkad, yeah. Stressed.
In the case of mu'akkad sunnahs, anyone who does something extra should prostrate after this. If he misses something and does something extra, it is his missing something which counts.
Oh, well.
Did you get that?
Okay, let me, sajda sah, the prostrations of forgetfulness, they are done to make up either you've, omitted something or you've added something to the prayer. Yeah? Now, within the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we've got 3 madhabs on this. Three ways of thinking. So, you got the Maliki, you got the Shafi'i, and the Hanafi. Let's start with the Hanafis. The Hanafi way of making up, if you've added something or you've left something out of prayer, is to do 2 sajdas after the first salah. Yeah. So they add 2 sajdas after the salah. With the Shafi'is, their way is, if you've omitted something or you've added something, they will do 2 sajdas before the salah. They do the tashahhud, say the takbir, they will do the 2 sajdas. Yeah? Doesn't matter if you've added something or you've omitted something. The Maliki way is we actually combine both. We differentiate, we make a difference between when you've added and when you've omitted. So when you've left something out, you always do 2 sajdas before the final salam. So you get to the tashahhud, yeah? You say the takbir, you will do the first sajda, sit up from it, then you'll do the second sajda, then you'll begin your tashahhud again, and then when you get to the end, when you want to finish, you say the salam. That's if you've left something out.
So you do the tashahhud first, you don't say salam, then you do 2 sajdas, then another tashahhud and salam.
No, 2 sajdas. 2 sajdas from the sitting position. Then do the tashahhud again, then you'll do the salam. That's when you've left something out. Okay. Yeah? I'll come to what necessitates those sajdas in a minute. If you've added something to the prayer, yeah, you will always do 2 sajdas after the final salam. Yeah? So you get to the tashahhud, you say the salam, then you say the takbir again, you do the first sajda, sit up, then the second sajda, sit again, do the tashahhud, then you say the salam. Yeah?
So you say takbir out loud after doing the salam, you stand up again and do.
No, you don't stand up. Always the sajda is from the sitting position.
So you say salam and say Allahu Akbar and go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You say Allahu Akbar, you said your salam,
Yeah.
and you're going to do the sajda sahwi.
Yeah.
The Allahu Akbar is it a takbiratul ihram?
Yes.
So rafa yadayn,
No.
and you also do one for the movement as well, or you do
No.
it simultaneous?
No, it's Allahu Akbar sajda.
Right. You just intend the ihram,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you move it in.
Yes. Okay. Now, I'm going to teach you a lot. If you memorize it in Arabic, it actually does make sense. Yeah? Sinan, Shinan, Kadal Jiman, Sa'an, Adda Sunan Athaman.
Sinan, Shinan.
Sinan, Shinan, Kadal Jiman, Ta'an, Adda Sunan Athaman.
Sinan, Jihan.
No,
Sinan, Shinan, Kada.
Kadal Jiman.
Yeah.
Yeah? Ta'an,
Ta'an.
Adda Sunan Athaman. Okay, the two scenes, look, two scenes, English, two scenes, two sheens, two jeans, two tars. They count as 8 sunan. Yeah? So, two scenes, two jeans, two sheens, two tars, 8. Now, those 8, now, if I was cruel, I'd test you on the sunan of salat. Yeah? Because if you remember, the first 8, well, the 9 according to the numbering we went, the first 9 will be these.
It's 2 before, 4, 4.
No. After when we did the fara'id of prayer, then we did the sunan of prayer. The first 8 of these are these. So if you miss any of those, yeah, you will always do. I'll go through them in a minute. Yeah. So the sinan, the two scenes, is reciting silently and a surah. Sinan.
Yeah, what's in Arabic? Surah?
Sir wa surah. Sir wa surah.
So Seen is reciting?
No. In Arabic, in English, surah is surah.
Right.
But silent in Arabic is sir.
Right.
Oh, that's really easy to remember actually.
Yeah, Sinan, Shinan, Kadal Jiman, Ta'an. Yeah, Abdada Sunan Thuman. You can remember it, it's beautiful. Yeah?
What's the last one? Abdul?
No, two scenes,
Yes.
surah and reciting silently.
Okay.
Yeah? The two sheens is the two tashuds.
The two sheens?
The Sami Allahu liman hamida?
No. We'll come to that. The sheenan,
Yeah.
two tashuds.
Okay.
Yeah? Seen and surah. Sir and surah.
Okay.
Silent and surah. Yeah? Two tashuds. Where are we?
Jim.
No, we're going to come to the G-man in a minute. The tamheed and the takbir. Yeah? Sami Allahu hamida and the takbir. They're the ta'an.
Tahmid and?
Tahmeed and takbir. Sami Allahu liman hamida and the takbir. Yeah? The two jalsas, the sittings for the tashuds. The jeans are, the two sittings. Does that make sense? Silent, the surah. Oh, sorry, the G-man, Jahr, the jalsa.
Okay, Jalsa wa Jahr.
Yeah, jalsa wa jahr.
Jahr for the Jahri.
Yeah, jahr for the jahri. Yeah. So, if you miss a surah out after Fatiha, you will, do two sajdas before. If you don't recite it aloud when it should be recited aloud, you will do two sajdas before the salam. If you recite aloud when it should be recited silent, Yeah, you will do 2 sajdas after the salam. If you miss, the takbir or Sami Allahu liman hamida, yeah, you will do 2 sajdas after the salam. But if you go back to, the list, if you've got it written down, if you go back to, the first 8 sunan, those are the ones.
So if you forget something, the prostration is done after the salam. And if you add something, the prostration is done before the salam.
If you,
have I got it the wrong way around?
yeah, if you miss something out,
Yeah.
an omission,
That goes before the salam.
yeah, it's before the
Okay,
salam.
that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you add something, is always after the salam. Yeah.
Thank you.
One 148, 149.
148 and 149. One second. Okay. If one forgets a prostration owing before the salam, then it is made good afterwards if little time has elapsed after saying the salam. If one forgets such a prostration after the salam, then it has to be made good even after a year. The Imam bears the responsibility, i.e., for what has been missed or any addition, both what has been missed or any addition, and not those following him. And the salat is invalidated if one deliberately, for blowing out air excessively or speaking.
Okay.
What is blowing out air? Oh. Okay.
Okay. واستدرك قبلي مع قرب السلام واستدرك بعدي ولا لم بعد عام. Read the first one again, 148.
Sure. 148 is, if one forgets a prostration owing before the salam, then it is made good afterwards if little time has elapsed after saying the salam. If one forgets such a prostration after the salam, then it is to be made good even after a year. I think by made good they mean do it again, isn't it? Yeah, that's what they mean.
Okay. Now, what necessity, because all we're looking at is these are, for the Sunnah Mu'akkada. It's not, for the Fard. It's always the Sajda Qabli. Yeah? The Sajda Qabli. The Sajda before the Salam is always Sunnah Mu'akkada. Sajda Ba'di usually is because you've added, it's for a fard.
So can you repeat that?
The sajda before the salam, is always for you've left, a sunnah mu'akkada out.
So sajda before the salam because you've left a sunnah.
Yeah, you've omitted a sunnah mu'akkada. The 8 that we're doing. Actually, and the sajda after the salam is usually you've left, one of the fard out. And you've, made it up. Yeah? Because the prayer, it's always an order. There's always a cycle. For instance, I'll give you an example. If you went straight into sajda from the standing position, you left a ruku out. We're going to come to it anyway.
Okay, if you do something like that, then it's a sajda afterwards.
Yeah, no, you'd have to put that in order. You'd have to correct that. Once you've corrected it, you'd correct that straight away. But because you've added, you always end up adding. Yeah, you'll always, end up doing two sajdas after the salam.
It
So that
follows.
wouldn't count as an omission.
No, that's an addition.
But you've missed.
No, but to correct that, you've
Okay.
added. We'll come to it because he comes later in the poem how to correct it. Now, because the understanding of why are we doing those? I've given you the reason, but in reality, why are you doing it? Because you're correcting it, because you remembered. Yeah. So the Prophet ﷺ and the other jurists. If I take the Prophet ﷺ thing back, because top of my mind I can't remember. I can tell you the jurists' understanding. They say it's you're slapping the devil. The two sajdas. You always, the first one is the first punch, and the second was to, punch it home. Because he's the one that makes you forget. He's the one that comes between you and your Lord. Yeah. Now, this sajda, that if it's close, if you remember, you're about to walk away and you remember you haven't done it, you do it straight away. But if you remember a year after, you'd still do it because it's still owing. Yeah, Shaitan still is owed that punch back.
So if you miss something, how do you correct it again? Do you have to do that entire rak'ah again?
We're going to come to that. Don't go there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll end up confusing yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the second point of the verse. Oh, sorry. The other thing is that the sajda sahw, the sajdas of forgetfulness, doesn't matter if it's for addition or omission, is for, they say 3 things or less. 3 or less. Yeah? The 8 we did. 3 or less. If you end up 3 or more, prayer is nullified.
Where each takbir counts as one.
No, takbir would count as one. So if you miss 3 or more, or 3 or less, 3 or less, 3 or more, prayer is nullified. And that's the mashhur.
Does that mean you could not pray the prayer just on the fard elements alone?
No, because you miss those elements out, you can't go back and correct them.
The sunnah, marked elements.
Yeah, so what you've got to do is start the cycle again.
Okay. But what I mean is you could not pray the prayer just on the fard elements alone without all the sunnah. That's not possible in the Maliki method.
No, it's impossible.
Okay.
It's impossible. Because the sunnah mu'akkada, it's like, the best way to understand it is a human being. He has a skeleton and then he has the muscle. Yeah? Can the skeleton stand without the muscle? Is there any use? Yeah? So if you take the analogy that, the skeleton, the human skeleton, what's the word? Skeleton. Yeah? Are the fara'id. And the muscle is the sunnah mu'akkada. And the skin is the recommendations.
Like, say the sun is rising, you pray like forest.
Say it again?
Say the sun is like kind of rising, and you have to pray your forest. Can you just do the skeleton?
No, if the sun is what you do
like
is
you want to slip in your forest really quickly.
You want to slip in you get up, sun is just about to rise.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tayammum.
Oh, you can do tayammum?
You do tayammum straight away.
Yeah. I would just think of doing my...
No. Here, listen to me. Do tayammum. Yeah? Allahu Akbar. Fatiha. Short surah. Yeah? Make sure you don't miss out the fard elements. You know and then just catch the ruku. As long as you catch the ruku, you're okay. If you catch the sajda, it's even better.
Yeah.
And then, as long as you catch that, it doesn't mind if the sun rises.
Okay.
Or if the sun sets.
Mm-hmm.
For Asr. You'll catch it.
Yeah.
But you've got to make sure that you catch. By sajda, they mean ruku. Because in the narrations it comes, if you catch one sajda, you've caught the rak'ah. Yeah?
Yeah.
What's understood is rak'ah. And by rak'ah means ruku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So if you catch the sajda, you catch one, it's fine. But that's only in that scenario.
And I don't understand how you're allowed to tayammum, because say if you have water in your house, probably, you could just do the foreign elements of the wudu, like hands, mouth.
Again, if you can do them, fine. The dispensation, the madhab's given you that dispensation.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the madhab's given you that option, but only in that scenario.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that the fard is in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not out of time. Okay. Where were we now?
We were talking about, you mentioned that if you add or subtract more than 3 things,
Yes.
it becomes invalid.
Yeah, invalid. Yeah, 3 or more, you'll nullify your prayer. Yeah. The opposite of that is if you do a sajda for a nafal, a recommended action, you'll nullify your prayer as well. Don't go, to that extreme either.
What is it again?
The recommended actions in prayer.
Yes.
So you miss one of those out, you end up doing, 2 sajdas. For instance, the dua qanut. It's recommended. Yeah? Or I missed that. Yeah? Or I missed the salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah? You end up doing, sajda sahw. You'll nullify your prayer. Yeah? Because the sajda sahw is for sunnah mu'akkada. Yeah? Or if you've added something, while because majority of the additions to prayer, end up because you've missed a fard.
So wait, when did this happen again? If you add, I'm so confused.
Come on.
By missing a fard, I think CD means that within your ihram, so you've said your takbir, before you say your salam, you accidentally forget the fard. If you complete your prayer without that fard, then it's null and void anyway. But if within that ihram you correct it, you can't do so without adding extra elements, can you? If you forget one sajda and you stand up, you're going to have to go back for it. So you've added a standing by accident in correcting the fard that you've missed. Is that?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Now, the imam will carry your mistakes in prayer. As long as he does not carry you for 2 things. I mean, he can't carry you for your fard. Yeah, you need to begin the prayer. Yeah. So if you make mistakes, omissions or additions, he'll carry you. But you need to begin the prayer. You need to stand, you need to do the ruku, you need to stand from it, you need to do sajda, sit, sajda. The sunan, what sajda sahw is for, he will carry you for that. This thing that, if you speak on purpose, or on purpose you blow, something that doesn't make any sense at all, it will nullify your prayer.
When you say carry, you mean the prayer carries on?
No, the Imam carries your mistakes.
You don't have to do such disapproval.
So for those actions in which you have made a mistake.
If the Imam forgets something and he does the prostration, forgetfulness, will we follow him?
We'll come to that.
Oh, okay.
We'll come to that.
On blowing, so I won't say who this was, but so there's this man in absolute agony, kneeling like this, and the Imam is taking ages of the tashahhud, just ages and ages, and this poor man, he's like trembling, and so you cough loudly to try and tell him that something amiss. You've broken your own prayer? I guess it's not your problem.
It happened in the past, didn't it?
Yeah.
We don't need to answer it. It happened.
But you...
The thing is, you always consider yourself.
Right.
We've had that problem where we've had, because our Jummahs are too big, so we have an upper portion of the room booked and the lower, so the Imam speaks through a microphone, but so what happened once is the microphone cut off, and so everybody just stood there and just there, complete silence, and we had no idea what was going on. And then I don't know who decided, maybe I should leave now, it's been 20 minutes. Seriously, it was 15-20 minutes we stood, because I didn't know what to do. It was a weird situation. And then he just started praying, because what were you going to do? And we didn't know what to do. So it was weird. What do you do in that situation?
Yeah, what do you do?
What do you do? So next time I can do something.
The thing is, again, it's just organisation. People should, organise the things that they always make sure that on each floor they have responsible people that they know what to do. And I mean, Hanafi fiqh, if you have different floors, you're actually supposed to leave a hole. You're supposed to leave a hole so people can see the Imam, rather than and now technology is such that you could fit a camera so people can see
Screen.
Yeah, it's just people don't think of the obvious. And the thing is that in the past our jurists thought of the obvious. They made a hole in the roof so you could see. So whoever's there, if they can't hear him, they can see him. Yeah, all they need to do is just look down.
What's that doing very well?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to stop there.
Yeah. The speech is, if you speak on purpose, which has nothing to do with the prayer, yeah, it will nullify your prayer. Yeah? And you're coughing as well, where there's because you're doing it to get the attention of the Imam. There's another way of doing it.
Like saying subhanallah?
Yes. Yeah. But making nonsensical noises that don't mean anything, and speaking without any need to speak will nullify your prayer. Yeah. Now, verse 150, 151, 152, and 153. You read that. I'll be back in a minute.
151 to 153?
No, it's
150.
153, 150 to 153.
Okay. For a reason other than to correct the Imam and anything like colic, for example, which distracts from performing the fard aspects, invalidate the salat, and if from one of the sunnah aspects, one should repeat it if still within the time. 151 is, if his purity is broken in any way, or he inadvertently makes an addition of a further 2 rak'ats, the like of which he has already performed, i.e. for the subh, or he guafs, or I don't know how to pronounce it. What is it?
Gafur.
guffaws, or deliberately eats or drinks something. And 152 is, or does an extra prostration deliberately, or vomits and deliberately swallows his vomit again, or remembers missed fard salats as long as they amount to less than 6 or part of a salat, all invalidate the current salat. And 153 is, or recalling omitting a prostration of negligence which one should have done before the salam of a previous salat to make good 3 missed sunnahs if one has left the mosque or a long time has elapsed.
Okay. Now, speaking in prayer. Does it break prayer? Where there's a purpose? No?
I've seen, but maybe because they're Hanafi, because sometimes what happens is they want to push the person back for legitimate reasons, because they've started the salat, but then other people join in, and the first person's already joined the imam like together, so they push that one person back so they can form another row. So in that situation, they just carry on.
We're talking about,
speeches and
talking, like correcting the imam.
Oh.
No, I don't think so.
You have to give him. You have to allow him some time.
Isn't there an appointed person that's supposed to do that? Like, it can't just be anyone. There's normally a person.
Because the last poem line we finished, وَبَطَلَةُ عَمَدُ نَفَخُ أَوْ كَلَامٍ. If you speak without, on purpose, without any reason, it nullifies your prayer. But if there's a reason that you're correcting the imam, I'll give you the scenario on what this is based on. The Prophet ﷺ prayed 2 rak'ats and said salam. And one of the companions, when he finished, he said, Ya Rasulullah, has the prayer been shortened? Or have you forgotten? And the Prophet ﷺ said, neither. Then he turned to someone else, which was Abu Bakr. He says, what he says, is it correct? He says, yes. Yeah? So the Prophet ﷺ got up, prayed the 2 rak'ats. Yeah? Now, that kind of, interaction where you're correcting the imam, as long as, it's concise, it doesn't, ramble on, it does not nullify the prayer.
So he asked the Prophet.
No, yeah.
And then the Prophet carried on praying?
No, he went back and he asked to verify that.
Okay. But that was the prayer at the end?
No, he said salam. He finished the prayer. Yeah? And he said no. Abu Bakr, the Prophet ﷺ said, neither. I haven't forgotten and I've not been made to forget. That's the words that were used. And he checked with Abu Bakr. He says, yes, you pray 2 rak'ats. He carried on, prayed 2 rak'ats and said salam.
What do we know what prayer there was? What time was it?
Yeah, it was one of the 4 rakat prayers. Yeah, is that either Dhuhr or Asr? Okay. Top of my mind, I can't remember which one it is. But the point is that there was a conversation that happened, yeah, and it was counted as part and parcel of the prayer. So the mother does not have any problem when someone from behind. For instance, the imam forgets a rak'ah, yeah, or he forgets a ruku. He doesn't know. Yeah, you say Subhanallah. He doesn't know what the hell you're on about. Yeah, you forgot a ruku. Fine. That will not nullify your prayer or anyone else's prayer.
Because I'm just asking again about the same thing. But why did the Prophet stop in the middle and say salam after only 2 rak'ah?
Yeah, if he hadn't done it, we wouldn't know how to do it.
But I understand this is for us to learn that we can interrupt
Yeah.
But is there another reason why he divided that 4 rak'ah prayer into 2 and 2?
Top of my mind, I couldn't give you the reason why. But the Prophet ﷺ was very clear, because you know the words that Imam Malik has. He says, the Prophet ﷺ clearly said, because you know the Sahabi said, has the prayer been shortened? Have you forgotten? Or have you been made to forget? And he said, neither. Yeah? You turn to Abu Bakr, he says yes, 2 is a 2 rak'ah.
So he was teaching us how to correct.
How to correct.
If the Imam makes a mistake.
Yeah, how to make. Yeah, it's not taken as any imperfection or fault with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyid Ali bin Maliki Makki is Insan al-Kamil, the perfect man. I think he does cover this. He gives you, the what the scholars have said about it.
Someone was just recommending the book there yesterday.
Insan al-Kamil. I'll tell you, any work of Sayyid Ali bin Maliki Makki, get it. Yeah. In English, the one that I highly recommend everyone to get is notions that need to be corrected.
Wait. I think I've seen that one. Yes. Notions that need to be corrected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every Sunni Muslim should have that work in their house.
What is it about?
When you buy it, you'll thank me for the rest of your life.
It's about
Notions that need to be corrected.
Misconceptions about certain things.
Yeah.
That we practice. That people say things like this. Clarifying.
It was written because the fatwa of kufr was he was declared a non-Muslim in Saudi because he wrote a work, and then he defended himself. The king said, I can't make why don't you write it down? So he wrote it down, and then the first book that came off, he presented the king, and the king said, I didn't ask you to do this. It's a CD, I've misunderstood.
Did he also write an explanation of the Sanusi creed? I don't know what that is. Sanusi.
No.
What is that?
It's a basic. Well, it depends on which Sanusi Aqidah it is. There's quite a few of them. There's Sughra to Sughra, then Kubra. There's 3 of them.
Someone else was telling me about it. He was highlighting his maqam.
Who?
Sayyid Ali bin Malik.
His Dakhairul Muhammadiyah, the Muhammadan treasures, which haven't been translated. I don't think so. How has it? But if you read Arabic, it's good. Dakhairul Muhammadiyah. He wrote that, and then this book. The fatwa of kufr was given against him, and in Dakhairul Muhammadiyah, he was a true lover of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I benefited, from his works, from his students immensely. I actually spent some time. Whenever I go to Makkah, I always go to their house. Always. If you go on Hajj or Umrah, tell the taxi driver to take you to Sayyid Ali bin Maliki Street. The street's named after his name. But the Prophet ﷺ spoke, yeah? And the prayer was not, voided, because he just added 2 rak'ats to the 4 rak'at, yeah? And then did sajda sahw.
He spoke and then added 2 rak'ahs afterwards?
No, yeah.
Because something was, I've forgotten, omitted or added?
No. Look, 2 rak'ats.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he spoke. Yeah. So 2 rak'ats were left out. But anyway, he spoke. That's the point that we're using. We're not talking about the other. The point that we're because 150 is لغير إصلاح. Yeah. When you speak without, correcting the prayer. So if you correct the prayer, it's not a problem.
presumably the Imam can say, I can't remember if I've done 3 or 4.
So again?
The Imam could ask, is this my 3rd or 4th rak'ah?
He could. It wouldn't negate the prayer. It wouldn't negate the prayer. And you know, if someone speaks, there is one event which is just a point in history. There's no fiqh ruling taken from that. Sayyidah Zainab salamun alayha, you know, the eldest daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when her husband returned, you know, not returned, you know, her husband came from Medina, you know, Makkah, he did hijrah, and she just couldn't keep it in, you know, in Salatul Subh, she said, my husband came last night, you know, in Salatul Subh, she just couldn't keep it. She just, and they just carried on praying. No one's prayer was nullified. But if you know, do speak, not, you know, on purpose, but out of forgetfulness, it will to sajda sahwi, because that will be an addition. But if it is, you know, to correct, then nothing.
So if you're correcting, no. If it's done out of forgetfulness, you're going to have to add to after the salah.
Yeah. If you do it on purpose, you will nullify your prayer.
That's okay. I get that.
You get it?
Yeah.
If you do it on purpose, you will nullify your prayer. If there's if you do it out of forgetfulness, to sajda sahwi.
I get it.
Yeah. If you add, you know, you end up, for instance, where are we now? ومنها أن يزيد في الصلاة مثلها سهوا. ثمانية. How many is ثمانية? 8, isn't it? So, you know, for 4 rakats you end up praying 8. I've never heard of it, but you know, it's amazing. You know, when you pray on your own, things can happen. Or, you know, for Maghrib you end up, you know, adding, you know, you add a rak'ah. So if you made Maghrib into 4, it would not, you know, nullify. If you made, you know, 4 into 8, yeah,
with the maximum.
Yeah, or if you made, you know, Maghrib into 4, it would not nullify. But if you went 4 plus, it will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, how would?
So is it the maximum?
Maximum.
If it's more than that, just repeat the prayer.
You repeat the prayer. You've nullified it.
So before you told us something about there was a certain amount that if you make those mistakes, or is this specific to speaking?
These are specifics. Those were sunnah mu'akkada. These are, you know, if you end up adding rak'ats.
How would you end up adding rak'at though?
Yeah, if you
do an error, then you add.
No, you don't know how many rak'ats you've prayed.
Yeah, if you forget, if it's the 3rd or 4th, for example,
Oh.
you just add one more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do when, this quite often happens to me, my head is so completely frazzled with whatever, usually the day at work, and I've just crashed into prayer, takbir, boom, let's try and get it done before I go on my next appointment, which is obviously not the right way of doing it. If you're just, your head is completely spinning, and you don't know where you are, you don't know how many.
Don't pray.
Don't pray. Okay.
You need to know what you are doing.
Right.
Prayers can always be made up. Because imagine now, if you know you're not there, would you have a serious meeting with someone? Why not? You're not there.
Talk nonsense.
Yeah. So you're going to talk to God. Whenever you end up doubling the prayer, there's always 2 sajdas after. As long as you don't with Maghrib you don't end up with 5. 4 you're okay. 5 gone. If it's a 4 rakat, if you end up with 8, it's still. But don't go to 7. I mean, don't go to 9.
I've never done this, but it sometimes occurred to me. Could you put a bunch of coins beside you and you just click them as you do your rak'ah and count them off like that? Stop you going mad. I mean, really, seriously, I get in the most terrible scrapes, and I'm just thinking, would that be a way around it?
Salatul Tasbih. Have any of you prayed it?
Yeah.
How do you keep count?
I just follow the guy in front of me. I'm being honest.
No, that's a cop out.
You can't actually.
How do you keep count?
I use my fingers. I can't remember.
You use your fingers. Yeah.
That'd be okay. You're allowed to keep count.
No, but if you've got something there that helps you, you won't find in any of the books. I'd permit it.
You would.
I personally would permit it, because the thing is, it means you're getting something done properly.
Yeah. The bottom line, I need to stop teaching so that I'm not trying to pray in 5 minutes between classes when my head is full of other nonsense.
Yes.
But in the meantime, that's all right. I just
no, because the whole thing is you need to understand the psychology behind prayer. Because the thing is that you're supposed to take a genuine break. Yeah. And then when you do wudu, you take time. Do you remember what I said last time? Take time doing wudu, because it really does wash the stuff away, and then pray quickly.
What are you teaching?
Religious studies.
Do you know what I do when I'm teaching my A-level kids? If you just leave like 5 minutes, because if you do it right after, your brain will be frizzled with whatever you're teaching them. Give it 5 minutes, because your brain can't handle it.
It's just this time of year. I've got meetings 10 minutes after class is finished. And you've got to get ushered in there.
I know. Yeah.
You might manage not very late.
I understand.
But
you can combine if that would help. Where
just now it would.
Because what you do is when Asr kicks in.
Yeah.
Get up and pray Dhuhr.
Yeah.
And then when you finish, pray Asr. Then what will happen is both prayers are in ikhtiyari.
Timetable means you're not going to be able to choose that 10 minutes.
Again, what you do is your situation better than me or anybody else.
Can we just summarize the last point that we were talking about? Just the last one.
Which one?
The one we were talking about 2 to 4 4 to, so Maghrib can only be till 4, and what were we talking about?
The 4 rakats, maximum you can add is double them. Yeah? The maximum you can go for Maghrib is 4. If you go 4 plus, it voids your prayer.
So these are how many rak'ahs you can add.
Yeah. There is an opinion that, which is of one scholar within the madhab, which is Ibn Ashir. He says if you add 2, he permits you to, but the well known as 4, with Maghrib is just 1. Yeah? But those are, genuine mistakes, not on purpose. If you do it on purpose, you avoid everything. Yeah? Okay. 151, can you read the translation for me?
Yeah, sure. So 151 would be, there we go. If his purity is broken in any way, or he inadvertently makes an addition of a further 2 rak'ats, the like of which he has already performed for the subh, and I forgot how to pronounce this, or he, what is it? Guffaws, or deliberately eats or drinks something.
Okay. This, if you break wudu, there's nothing that can be done with that.
If you break wudu, what?
Halfway.
Yeah, there's nothing that you
just have to redo the prayer.
You can't do anything about it if you break wudu. Yeah. But as to laughter, yeah. Now, by laughter, it means that dahk with there's a sound.
It's a silent.
Dahk with salt. That's the word. Dahk with salt. Yeah, you laugh with sound. That is a audible laughter. Tabassum is when you smile. That does not break prayer. Yeah, smiling does not break prayer. Laughter, which the sound can be heard, breaks prayer, does not break wudu. Breaks prayer, does not break wudu, which is different to the Hanafis. Because the Hanafis say that, it breaks your prayer and your wudu. And our response is, so is it a cause of breaking wudu? They say no. So, if I do wudu and then laugh, have I broken wudu? No. But if you laugh in prayer, you break wudu and you break your prayer.
Yeah, that really surprised me.
Huh?
What's the evidence for that?
They actually do have evidence. It's not that they don't have evidence. The amazing thing is that, every position that, you find the fuqaha that they hold, there's always evidence. But, is it the evidence?
That would be
and the thing is that, something that, even according to their usul, does not break wudu. Yeah? So, breaking wudu, laughter does not break wudu outside of prayer. So on what grounds does it break wudu in prayer? And the amazing thing is that their fiqh is presented as where reason is, supreme. Here it falls. And the amazing thing is where Malikis are presented as very, where reason is not supreme. But the amazing thing is, it's always there. If you do it, it doesn't matter if, the laughter is on purpose, forgetfully, or you are overwhelmed. It will break it. To eat, or drink on purpose will nullify your prayer as well.
So laughing in any way or eating in any way is wrong.
It doesn't matter, if it's little or lot. But if you eat forgetfully, eat or drink. I don't know how, when you're in the state of prayer, you're going to eat or drink, but they're covering all corners.
Some uncles have this habit.
But you will have to add 2 sajdas after the salah.
Is eating the same as well? It doesn't break wudu.
Pardon?
Is eating the same as laughter? It wouldn't break. It would break prayer, but not wudu.
Yeah, of course it would.
That means every time you ate, you had to do it again. Could you imagine?
Somebody asked that question in the mosque. He's like, I've heard that if I eat something spicy, it breaks my wudu, and the imam just looks like him like, who told you that?
Okay. What will vomit? Will also, it won't break your wudu, but it will break your prayer.
It doesn't break wudu.
How's vomit going to break your wudu?
Okay. Blood, I think blood does break.
No.
Blood doesn't break wudu?
No.
Yeah, you did that last time, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Remembering, what we were talking about before about prayers that you haven't prayed. If you remember, 6 prayers. If it's, if you've got 6 prayers to pray, it won't break your salat. But if it's less than 6, you remember, because they're looking at the whole day. Yeah. So if you've got 1 day's prayers to make up and you remember, so you're in the next day, it will nullify your prayer.
Could you repeat that again?
Okay. Look, but if you've got 6 or less prayers to make up, it will nullify your prayer. If you remember.
If you have 6 or less prayers to
No,
make
it's like, for instance, we prayed Maghrib and we remembered that, I didn't pray Maghrib yesterday. Yeah? And then I didn't pray Isha and didn't pray blah, blah, blah. That prayer is null and void. You will have to stop. It doesn't matter if you're the Imam or you're praying behind someone. If you're the Imam, that prayer will be nullified for you. It won't nullify the people behind you, but your prayer will be gone. If you're praying behind the Imam, their prayer, that person, he can't carry on with that prayer. He's got to stop, go away, make up those prayers. Yeah? I've forgotten your name now. What's Edward.
Yeah.
The thing I was saying about 5 prayers?
Yeah.
This is because they're easy to make up. Yeah? Now, if you remember, you have to go and make them up. You can't carry on praying that prayer because that prayer is void. So if you've got 6 prayers, 6 or less prayers to make up, and you remember while praying, that prayer will be void, will be nullified.
Oh, so the prayer that you're currently doing, if you remember that you've got others to do,
if you
6 or less.
6 or less, yeah.
You've got to make sure they're done before you can carry on to this one.
Yeah. Good. No, as soon as you remember, that prayer is nullified.
It's nullified.
That you remembering nullifies that prayer.
That you had to. Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and it will nullify the prayer. It doesn't matter who it is, the Imam or those praying behind.
Does the Imam then have to tell everyone behind him that you're
No,
praying?
he doesn't. He pulled someone forward. I don't know if we'll get to it, but you pull someone forward to carry on in your place, and you go and make up your prayer.
Interesting.
Okay. وفوت قبل ثلاث سنن. 153, what was the translation?
Just 1 second. 153.
Yeah.
That's the one I was most confused about. 153. Or recalling, omitting a prostration of negligence which one should have done before the salam of a previous salat to make good 3 missed sunnahs if one has left the mosque or a long time has elapsed.
Okay. It's Give me the thing. Anyway, let me read it. What was the problem? وفوت قبل ثلاث سنن.
Do you want the book?
What was the translation?
It's a very confusing one.
Is it?
In the English for me, I don't get it. I need the commentary with me.
We already have done this. Did you know three sunnah? You know, if you miss 3 sunnah muakkada and or more, you will nullify your prayer. If it's 3 or less, yeah, you can do sajda sahw, yeah, or recalling, omitting. You know, just as recalling the prayers that need to be made up nullifies the prayer. So remembering that you didn't make up a sajda sahw
Also nullifies.
or no sajda sahw, or because you missed 3 sunnah,
Right.
yeah, will also invalidate it. Does that make sense?
It
No?
does. It does. Yes. I have one question. Do you know we were talking about sunnah mu'akkada, and that if you miss it out, you have to do two. You have to do 2 salats afterwards because you
No, 2 sajdas
2 sajdas. Sorry, afterwards, after the prayer, before the prayer.
before the salam.
Before the salam. Do you also have to, before those 2? Do you also have to do 1 rak'ah where you complete that?
What you mean rak'ah? You're getting me confused there.
So you just if you basically if you've missed sunnah mu'akkada, you just do the 2 sajdas, and that is fulfilled.
No, two sajdas before the salam.
So the 2 sajdas, and that's it.
Yeah,
You
3 or less.
it has to be 3 or less.
3 or less. If it's 3 or more, prayer's gone.
So basically, those 2 sajdas will
Will
take it
compensate.
away. Compensate for it.
Yeah, you slap Satan with it.
But then,
You made me forget. But look, I've got it
But
back.
then with the fard what we were talking about, with the with the fard, if you miss it, then the prayer's void.
Uh-huh.
But then there was one where you said you have to repeat the entire thing that you did wrong. Which one was that?
Okay. Read 154 and 155.
154 and 155. If one remembers missing any obligatory part of the salat one is currently performing, one should put it right there and then. But if one has already gone into bowing, then one treats as annulled the rak'at containing the omission and carries on the rest of the prayer, basing it on what one has done previous to this. Annulled rak'at.
Okay.
That's 154 and 155.
5.
Yeah. Anyone who remembers only after making the salam should do likewise, although he must say Allahu Akbar for the rest. But if a long time has elapsed, then this invalidates his salat.
Okay. Now, scenario. I've gone, into sajda from the standing position. Missed the ruku out.
So you've got.
It could be Edward, he's just come out.
Straight into the ground.
Yeah. So, Fatiha, Surah. Rather than going into ruku, I've gone straight into sajda. Yeah. When I come up from the second sajda, I remember I missed out the ruku. Yeah. So I need to correct that. So what will happen is when I stand up from sajda, yeah, I will repeat that whole rak'ah. I will stand, read Fatiha, read a surah, go into ruku, stand from ruku, yeah, go into sajda, sit from sajda, do the sajda, yeah. The first, the incomplete rak'ah will be disregarded, yeah. Now, because I've added now a whole rak'ah, because you can't go back, you've always got to move forward. This is how, to correct a rukn of prayer, a fard, you can't go back, you've always got to move forward. So, for you to get that corrected, you come up with a whole unit, the rak'ah. Does that make sense? So, for another scenario, you've completed one rakat, you're in the final sajda, you remember I didn't read Fatiha. Yeah? You can still correct it, but only in prayer. Once you say the salam, you'll nullify your prayer. So, and the thing is that you don't wait, yeah, that I can, just add 2 sajdas at the end and that will suffice. No, you've got to correct that. You've got to come with a complete unit of rak'ah.
So this is before the salam, you can do another
rak'ah? No, that straight away, when you realize your mistake, you get up, carry on and correct it.
So you just get up onto the straight position.
Straight position, Fatiha, surah, ruku, stand from it, go into sajda, sit, do sajda, you've corrected your past mistake. But when you finish, when you finish your prayer, after the tashahhud, say the salam, assalamu alaikum. Now you have to punch Satan twice.
Oh, I see. Because you've added now.
You've added now.
So you've got to do that.
2 sajdas. When it is for the sunnah mu'akkada, you don't go back and correct the sunnah mu'akkada for the omission.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah? You
true.
just add 2 sajdas before the salah. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
I think so. So you don't, if you realise you missed out the fard, you don't complete that defective rak'ah knowing it's defective. The defect can't be corrected because you can't go back. No, I realise, but
you've got to move forward.
That rak'ah, you did bin that rak'ah. If you're midway, so I don't know. Let's say you've missed the rak'ah.
Yeah, you've gone into sajda.
You've got one sajda.
Yeah, you have to do the next sajda.
Right. Okay. So you complete the.
No, you have to do.
You finish the.
You have to complete it
and then bin it.
Then bin it.
Right.
Then come up with a new one.
So you have to complete that cycle before.
That cycle has to be completed because the prayer you can't go backwards.
But
you
have to go forward.
Yeah, you can't leap to go forward. You have to complete that.
Even though you know it's not going to.
You know it's incomplete, but you've got to. If you're in ruku, you have to get up from ruku. If you remember in ruku, I've forgotten Fatiha. Yeah. You can't go stand up from ruku and read Fatiha and do another ruku.
Yes, okay.
You can't do it because after ruku you have to do sajda. After the sajda you have to do another sajda. Then you can go back. But what you do is you come with a full rakat. Does that make sense? Yeah?
And if you miss sunnah mu'akkada, then you do 2 sajdas before.
No, sunnah mu'akkada. You don't correct, you just give 2 sajdas. You smack Satan with it.
But that would be before because you've missed it.
Yeah, it's still in prayer, you do it. But with the, where you correct the fard, you correct the fard, and then when you finish the prayer, after the prayer, you give 2 sajdas, thanking God and smacking Satan.
After the salam.
Yes, after the
Because you
salam.
added.
After the salam.
Cute.
But you know, any scenario you can think of where you know you would miss a fard, yeah, you would always carry on to the end conclusion of that cycle, and then you would come back.
Mm.
Yeah.
That makes it easier to kind of move on because then you're not thinking about correcting it. You just kind of move on to the next rak'ah.
You move on. But the thing is that you can't, in prayer, you can't go back.
Yeah.
And it has to reach the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah? From ruku, standing, sajda, sit, sajda, stand.
Yeah.
Yeah? What was 155 again?
1 second, please. 155. So 151 was. Anyone who remembers only after making the salam should do likewise, although he must say Allahu Akbar for the rest. But if a long time has elapsed, then this invalidates the salam.
Okay. Now, you know, what's the definition of long time? You've got up and walked out of the mosque.
Oh.
It doesn't mean that, you know, decades have passed. It's so simple. Yeah. Now, 156, 157, 158. I really thought I would get to Salat al-Jumu'ah, but I haven't. And we'll have to wait till.
How much more have we got left until?
Huh?
How much have we got left until Salat al-Jumu'ah?
This is the last thing.
Oh, okay.
And we're 5:45. Yeah. Anyway, go on. Read.
155 to 15?
No, 156, 157, 158.
156. Whoever has doubts regarding an obligation should resume from where he is certain and then prostrate after the salam, and if an imperfection occurs. 157 is, because he omits the surah after al-Quran when resuming from the actions and spoken elements of the salat which he knows to be correct, then he should do the prostration after the salam. And 158, likewise, the person who has already raised his hands and knees and who remembers having omitted the middle, sitting, and does not return to the sitting position should prostrate before the salam, but does not prostrate if he returns to the sitting position before raising his hands and knees.
You know, the first that you always build on what you're certain. So, for instance, I'm not sure if I've prayed 3 rakats or 4, but I'm certain I've prayed 2. So I'll get up and pray 3 and 4. You always build on what you are certain. Yeah?
That can apply to other areas like
Wudu,
wudu.
you doubt, does it break wudu? We covered that before. Not going to go back on that.
No.
Huh?
See? No.
Of course it does.
Oh. No, I mean I build on certainty, so like I think I washed my arms, so
Yeah.
just carry on. Oh, actually no, because okay, that's
Okay.
different. Never mind.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that, you know, you will always build on certainty. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what it will necessitate 2 sajdas after the salam, because you don't know if, because in these scenarios it's very likely you've added a rak'ah or 2.
So what do you do then?
You would finish as normal, say the salam, add 2 sajdas. Add 2
Like, so you
sajdas.
assume you've added.
Huh?
So you just assume you do the same with the assumption that you've added.
No, you're doing the assumption that you're actually not sure. If you prayed 3 or 4, am I in 3rd rakat or 4th rakat? but you're certain that you've done 2. Yeah? So you get up and pray 3 and 4. Yeah? But these kind of scenarios will always necessitate 2 sajdas after the salah. Does anybody know the difference between the words and the statements of the prayer? 157.
Because he omits the surah after the Quran when resuming from the actions and spoken elements of the salah which he knows to be correct, if he should do the prostration before the salah. Sorry, and if an imperfection occurs because he omits the surah after the Quran when resuming from the actions and spoken elements of the salah which he knows to be correct, then he should do the prostration before the salah.
Because the thing is, you're always built, because you know the actions are the fard. Yeah? The action's always the fard. The statements, apart from, Fatiha, are always sunnah. Yeah? So, it will always be 2 sajdas before the salah. Yeah? Does that make sense? No?
Because it's a sunnah.
Huh?
Because it's a sunnah.
Because it's a sunnah. Because the sunnah mu'akkada are always, apart from Surah Fatiha, the things that are said.
Apart from Surah Fatiha, everything else is things that are said.
No, Surah Fatiha is fard. Yeah? All the rest of the things that are said are sunnah mu'akkada.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah? So it will always necessitate, 2 sajdas before the salah. Yeah?
Always necessitate 2 sajdas before the salah.
If there's a nuqs, if there's a fault in what you've said,
because there's sunnah mu'akkada. Or have I confused myself now?
so then
Basically, whatever sunnah you do before, that's how I see it. Fard you do after. That's an easy way to remember.
okay.
Oh yeah, because we did discuss that before as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought there was a new point coming. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
The final thing here doesn't necessitate sajda sahw, but if you do end up adding, it will. If your hands leave the ground when you're getting up, you have to carry on. Do you remember the thing we were talking about, the cycle? Even if one hand is there, you can still come back.
Okay.
Special Edward question. You presumably keep your hands there for quite a long time when you try and work out where you are in your prayer, or not? Serious question.
Pause.
Or not?
No, if there's someone behind you,
No.
just you,
Yeah,
on you.
Devil is easy.
No, the thing
Quite
is,
easy when you're
if you are, pausing
Yeah.
to remember,
Yeah.
that won't nullify your prayer. Yeah, as long as it's not something that's going to end up into 5 or 6 minutes. It's a reasonable pause to collect your thoughts. It won't nullify your prayer. Yeah? But once your hands leave, you have to come back with the full cycle. Full rakat.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But if you remember before it leaves, you can go back. If one hand is there, You can.
So you're just walking into, say, ruku, but you just haven't put your second hand there.
No. You're getting up.
Oh, sorry, you're getting up.
You're getting up for the rak'at.
Oh, I see. And if you've missed something in sajda, you're saying?
No. You know when you get up for the next rak'at, yeah? So you remembered, I don't need to, I need to sit. Because the prayer's finished. Or I don't need to, yeah? As long as your hands don't leave the ground, you can return back. But if your hands leave, you have to carry on.
I see what you mean. Okay.
You covered that last time.
Yeah. And if you do, end up, you'll end up adding. So it'll be 2 sajdas after.
But isn't the 1 second? Oh yeah, because you have to add a whole rak'ah. It's a fard. Yeah, okay, I get it.
You get it?
Yeah, I do get it. It's a fard, so you have to do it.
Okay. Now, to sajda sahu, I'm not happy, the way it's been done. It needs a lot more detail than this. But we're stuck for time. So, rule of thumb. If you stick to this rule of thumb, you won't go wrong. If it's 3 sunnah mu'akkada or less, yeah, 2 sajdas before the salah. Yeah? Remember, the Sinan, Shinan, Jiman, Ta'an is 8. Yeah? If you miss a fard out, to correct it, you will always end up adding a rak'at. So you correct that straight away. Don't wait that I can go to the end of the prayer and then I can correct it by 2 sajdas. It will nullify your prayer. You correct it straight away. You come up with a full unit. When you finish at the end, you add 2 sajdas after the salah. Yeah? So when you leave any sunnah mu'akkada out, it's 2 sajdas before the salah. Yeah? If you add, it's 2 sajdas after the salah. You will always do the tashahhud. It's up to you if you want to do the salawat or the dua before you go say the takbir and go into sajda. Yeah? That is up to you. But after the 2 sajdas before the salah, you will begin the tashahhud from the beginning. Then you will do the salawat and the dua, and then you will finish normally. With the 2 sajdas, because you're coming up with 2 sajdas, the initial takbiratul ihram counts. Yeah? So the takbir is counted as, just going from one position to the other. The 2 sajdas, are fard, and the salam is fard as well. So, but when you do it 2 sajdas after the salam, the takbir counts as the opening takbir. Yeah? So the takbir is fard, the 2 sajdas are fard, the tashahhud is sunnah, the salam is fard.
I got that one. Just the one before, it was you've done your last tashahhud and then you then do 2 sajdas for the one before, for the 2 sajdas that you have to do before. You end off your so you've done your tashahhud and then you do the 2 sajdas again.
Yeah, with the intention that therefore to make up the omission.
And there's no takbir in that. As
Of
there's
course
no
there's
beginning
takbir.
takbir.
No, that takbir is just to move from one position to the
another.
next,
Okay.
like other positions. While the takbir after the salam is the opening takbir. From the sitting position, you don't raise your hands. You just say Allahu Akbar and you go into sajda.
Okay.
You sit from the sajda, you go back to the sajda, and you will begin, the tashahhud anew to the end. Then you say salam.
Okay.
Does that? Okay. We'll have to wait next time for
To be continued.
to be continued. Okay. If anybody's got any questions, yeah.
If you join a Jama'ah and they are in, say for example, the third rak'ah of Maghrib,
Yeah.
and you've made that rak'ah,
Yeah.
when you stand up
Yes.
to do the rest,
Yes.
on that second rak'ah that you do,
Yes.
you have to do the sitting.
Yes.
So basically you're doing 3 sittings.
And 3 tashahhuds.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
And you have to repeat, the rakats that you missed
Yeah.
with the imam. For instance, if you called the final rakat, which was the silent rakat,
Yeah.
when you start making up your first rakat, action wise, is the second rakat you get up with because you've prayed one rakat with the imam. So your second rakat, action wise is second rakat, but qawlan, is the first rakat.
Yeah, I understand that.
So you read Fatiha aloud, you read Surah aloud, then you'd sit, do the tashahhud, then get up, which will be your third rakat action wise, but qawlan will be your second rakat. So you do Fatiha and the Surah, and then you'll end. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And just from, I forgot, I didn't write it down my notes. I didn't see it there. I couldn't remember. Does camel meat break wudu?
Sorry?
Camel meat.
Doesn't. Does eating beef break wudu?
Yeah, but I just remember there being hadith about it.
We're very familiar with the hadith.
Yeah, that's what
but
I'm
the
asking.
position is, if eating meat, does it break wudu?
No.
Okay. Does cooked meat break, eating cooked meat?
No.
Question answered.
So the joining of prayers will be covered in the next session, right?
No, we did that.
We do that?
Yeah.
No, I mean as in joining a congregation late.
Oh, that will be
The next session, right?
The next it will be Juma and Jama'ah.
Yeah, okay.
We'll cover Salatul Juma, the conditions for Juma, then Jama'at, then the conditions for the Imam, which gets really interesting. The conditions for the Imam gets interesting. Then joining the Jama'at, at what condition and at what level, and so on and so forth. And then the istikhlaf, when the Imam needs to, for whatever reason, he needs to go somewhere during prayer. If he breaks wudu or something happens, what does the Jamaat do? So it would be Jamaat, joining the Jamaat, then the conditions of the Imam, and the conditions of the Imam get the conditions of perfection, Kamal, then conditions that are makruh. They're not ideal, but his imamah is acceptable. One of them gets really interesting, so I'll wait whenever we get back to that, inshallah.
And you know the transmission for how we move the finger in Salah?
Yes.
Imam Malik, I didn't get, what is it again?
The moving.
Yeah.
We get it from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because all the hadiths about the Wail bin Hujr and Abdullah bin Umar, all of them would move it. And how we specifically hold this and that is from one of the teachers of Imam Malik, who's a tabi'i. I can't remember his name. But if you go on my Facebook notes,
I thought it was a woman.
Huh?
I thought it was a woman.
No, it's Maymuna's Mawla, who's the freed slave of the mother of the believers, Sayyida Maymuna radhiyallahu ta'ala anha. But Sidi Khalil has that, you move it from right to left continuously. You 3 fingers there, thumb on top. That should face your. That's what we get from Ibn al-Qasim. That faces, so it's natural. Yeah, and then you move it naturally, right to left, continuously from the beginning of the tashahhud till you say the salam.
And we have no dua when we say takbir after that. We go straight to Fatiha.
In your nafil if you want to, because the hadith about the subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika is to do with when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to open his night prayers.
I see.
His nafil prayers. And all the things that we have from the Sahaba. No, don't make it straight. Naturally. If you can feel a stretch, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, naturally. Yeah, there's no stretch. Yeah. Now, what you do is you move it right to left, very slowly, while you're doing the tashahhud till the end. And all the descriptions we have of the tashahhud is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to move his finger. What we have is this Ibn al-Qasim telling us how Imam Malik took it from his teachers, who were the students of the Sahaba. While all the rest, the people who do this, they're literally trying to understand the hadith. They're trying to understand, while we're going by actually transmission of amal. That. And what happens is that, the fingertip moves more than the finger. Yeah? The fingertip moves rather than the finger. Yeah. Anything else? No? Alhamdulillah. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد يا رحمن الراحمين يا رب العالمين. We ask you that you bless Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We bless him, that you bless him as much as you love him, and you bless those that love him, especially his descendants, his companions, and those who walk in their footsteps. Allah, we ask you that you accept this coming and sitting to understand your deen and the Durud fi Deen. Allah bless people who run this place, people who've organized it, people that are here. Allah, you know what is in our hearts. We do not know better than you do. We ask everything good that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sought protection from, and we seek everything good that Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sought. Allahumma salli salatin kamila wa sallim salamun tamma ala Sayyidina Muhammad alladhi tanhalu bihi al-uqad wa tanfariju bihi al-kurab wa tuqda bihi al-hawa'ij wa tunalu bihi al-raga'ib wa husn al-khawatim wa yustasqa al-ghamamu bi wajhika al-karim wa ala alihi wa sahbihi fi kulli lamhatin wa nafas بعدد كل معلوم لك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you.